We're going to move on now to Metal Energy Corp because we haven't talked about nickel, one of my favorite subjects. We've handled the gold and the inflation side. Let's get into what nickel is going to mean to the economy going forward. Metal Energy Corp has the past producing and high-grade Manabridge nickel project in Manitoba. It's located in the famed Thompson Belt. And we're happy to be joined once again by James Sykes. James brings more than 15 years of exploration and discovery experience to the company. He's been directly and indirectly involved with the discovery of over 550 million pounds of U3O8 in the Athabasca Basin, helping to create billions of dollars in shareholder wealth with those successful companies. James, welcome back to the Global Mining Symposium. Where are you joining us from?
From the cold dungeon that I'm currently in, Saskatoon.
The cold dungeon of Saskatoon. Okay. Well, Saskatoon's not a cold dungeon. Are you referring to Saskatoon itself? Or your specific location?
Saskatoon's nice and warm. No, I'm down to my cold dungeon and freezing my hands here. But
it keeps the blood flowing, James.
That's why I got to get through this presentation, because that will get the blood flowing. This is a very exciting presentation, and I love everything this company has going for it. So
excellent. Well, let's sit back and we'll listen, James. The microphone is yours.
Thanks, Emil, Anthony. Always a pleasure to be here. So we're not talking about uranium today. We're going to talk about nickel, and I think a lot of people know the nickel story, that it's in demand. It's not just something that's going to be in vogue for a small amount of time. This is the future. Electric vehicles are real, and they will continue to be real for generations down the road. So nickel is going to play a very big part in that. And what Metal Energy has going for it, number one, is our flagship project, Manabridge. And this is what I'm going to spend most of the time focusing on, because this is our darling. This is really nice. It's got a lot of potential, not just in the project itself, but for the entire company as a whole. We just completed a phase 1 drill program, the first within the old Manabridge mine area, 6 drill holes for 2350 meters. Every single drill hole intersected nickel copper sulfide mineralization within a larger envelope. So it's very exciting to see that our assessment of historic drilling has panned out. We're also planning for a 10,000 meter drill program starting in June. So we're literally weeks away from that. Exciting times. And we are now the operators of this project. So we're gonna hit it in full force. We also received permits for 100,000 meters of diamond drilling that are good for over 3 years. So lots of activity coming from Metal Energy on the Manabridge project in the years to come. Just to give you a little bit more context about Manabridge itself, the old mine, it was owned by Falconbridge and mined between 1971 and 1977. They produced 1.3 million tons at 2.5% nickel. And they also had about 0.3% copper byproduct. And they mined that down to about 381 meters. So one of the things that's also not mentioned in there is that there's a cobalt byproduct as well that may not have been looked at back in the day. It's located within the Thompson Nickel Belt, which is one of the world's richest nickel districts. If I'm not mistaken, it's about the 5th largest in the world, and it has been around for many years. So Manitoba itself is a very safe political jurisdiction, constantly ranked very high in the global rating systems as one of the top investment jurisdictions for many good reasons. What we're looking for there in Manabridge is high tenure, high grade nickel mineralization. And so we know that there is quite a bit along strike, at least a kilometer of strike. And then also there's quite a bit that is open at depth beneath the old mine workings and down dip. So there is a potential for numerous multi-million tons within the shadow of the mine workings itself, but also on some additional greenfield and brownfield exploration within the project itself. So as mentioned, we are starting a 10,000 meter drill program coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to really try to hit a home run and establish a nice mineral resource. Don't know how long that's going to take. Could take 2 quarters, could take 3 or 4, but we will assess obviously as we continue going. We're not going to hit it out of the park with this first 10,000 meters. This one is designed to really do a little bit more of a detailed type of drill program, that will provide us with the structural analysis, but also understanding where higher grades of mineralization are occurring. We're pretty sure we've got a nice handle on it, but we want to start putting that into a 3D model. So it's nice to start with a tighter shell and then expand on that. So everything is ready to go. We're going to be drilling primarily the upper 300 meters of the mineralized envelope, as a lot of that remains quite untested. But also the idea is to hopefully define a resource that would be open pittable. And so if, obviously if you can have a resource that's an open pit, that's always much more cost effective than underground mining. We're going to be targeting the higher grades, but we need to know why and where they are occurring. So as many drill holes as we can put into it to define that, the better, obviously. And then getting ramped up for January 2023 already. We're looking at about 40,000 meters that will continue on this definition drilling side of things, but also doing a little bit more of the greenfield exploration. Just to give you an idea of the old mine workings and the mineralized envelope that does exist. So on the section and the longitudinal section, the darker blue areas are the old mine workings. That's where they mined the 1.3 million tons. But the lighter blue shell, you can see that's basically all mineralized. There's a lot of nickel mineralization defined by historic diamond drilling, both from underground and from surface. And then you can also see that there is quite a bit of potential that was undrilled beneath the shell. So we've got quite an envelope to drill and to grow, and this could be a huge resource in its own. Some of the historic drill intersections that you can see there, one of the underground ones, 40 meters at 1.8% nickel. Oh, that's quite an exciting type of discovery, and that's the potential that does exist there. You can see that the old mine workings was a small chute basically, and I think it's possible to find a similar type of mineralized systems within that entire kilometer long shell. And as soon as you start finding those, these higher grade chutes really start to add tonnage very quickly. Phase 1 drilling that we just completed in the winter, and then you can see this the mine workings and the shell. The blue lines are our drill holes. Now, this was designed for really testing a lot of the historic work, but also trying to get a preliminary handle on the structures and mineralized controls, which I think we've done very well. Each of the red dots show the intersection points. So some of these drill holes, we had multiple intersections within the mineralized envelope. So it is broad, and there are multiple zones of it. We also, in holes 1 and holes 3, we are seeing mineralization in areas that were previously undrilled. So we know that we can start filling out that envelope at depth. A lot of encouragement. And to confirm with hole 6 that we did see, we did confirm that mineralization continued at depth there. So just looking at some of the nickel copper sulfide widths that we're seeing there, upwards of 18 meters thickness in some of these areas. So assays are due in about 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully shorter than that now, but there's a lot of potential for this, and yeah, definitely very excited. From the first drill hole, which was in an area, one of the furthest areas to the northeast of the old shell, well, we hit net textured and brecciated sulfides, both nickel copper bearing. So again, this really emphasizes the value and potential that does exist on strike and at down dip at the old Manabridge workings. But as I mentioned, we've got more than just the old mine workings to follow up. We do have some brownfield exploration. You can see the red ellipse there. So Manabridge mine itself would be in the lower 2 claim blocks, but as you follow the trend up towards the top of the ellipse, there's the Manabridge North deposit, which also has a lot of high grade. And then the entire greenfield exploration side on the eastern side of the project has a lot of geological similarities, not just to the Manabridge mine itself, but also to other nickel copper deposits within the area. where they're seeing a lot of mineralization hosted along folds and along the limbs proximal to the folds. And that's typically a great place to find mineralized systems in whatever commodity you're looking for. So there's a lot of huge potential in this. We recently flew a Airborne Mt Survey over the entire project. We don't have the final results yet back, but the preliminary results look very encouraging, especially for the Brownfield side of things. So lots of targets being generated, and again, if we could just keep hitting a lot of these high grade shoots, that really does add up a lot of tonnage very quickly. So looking at some of the numbers from the Manabridge North target, so it's a brownfield exploration strategy, but you can see you're getting 12% copper over 1 meter, 6% copper over 1.5 meters. So there's quite a lot of nickel and copper in this system, but you also do get the cobalt byproducts and pretty shallow mineralization too, where all of these are angled drill holes. So your depth to surface is less than 130 meters where you're hitting high grade nickel. So lots of potential as well up here at the Manabridge North deposit. And we'll quickly jump into the Strange project. So that is our second project. We do only have the two. Strange is located just southwest of Thunder Bay, Ontario, close to the United States boundary. And there's a lot of old nickel copper mines and deposits within this whole area. This is part of the greater mid-continent rift system, which is quite lucrative for, again, a number of nickel copper deposits. So we are looking for a new nickel district, similar to Voisey's Bay, and everybody knows that story probably. A discovery that turned into a huge success up in Labrador. So we're hoping that with the right type of district that we see here and the project size, that we can make a discovery. Then we can have a similar type of scenario. So we did drill one drill hole this winter. We did plan for two, but unfortunately just didn't happen that way. Results are expected soon, and we were interpreting some geological formations. We did hit those. We will have a news release out on that shortly. But again, if we can really hit the right type of nickel mineralization, then it's a no-brainer. We're within a great jurisdiction in Thunder Bay. There's a lot of infrastructure, the port's there, so it's a great place to basically have a mine. We did not get to the area that's labeled strong magnetic anomaly. We did drill the one that is to the east of there and have confirmed that the right rock types are there. We do think that stronger magnetic anomaly is definitely more viable. We did try to get there this winter, unfortunately just proved too problematic. So we will revisit that with our next drill program, either at the end of this year or going into next year. So what's basically been done, Q1, we've gone through that. We drilled in the winter on Manabridge, 2350 meters. We did one drill hole at Strange, results still pending. Q2, Q3 coming up, Manabridge, very exciting time, 10,000 meter initial drill program. We are the operators, 49% owners in this, and it's going to be quite huge, I think. And then once we get the MT survey back, that all gears up into Q4, Q1 next year when we start hitting Manabridge again. Strange, we're going to wait till we get all the results and then we'll determine what we want to do from there. But right now, all focus is on Manabridge. 83 million shares outstanding, about 24 million warrants and options. Share price as of today is about 10 cents. And we've got about 10 million market cap, 5.5 million treasure, so fully funded to see this drill program through. It's going to be, hopefully this really turns around the company, that we can evolve from a 10 million market cap, because we do see a lot of upside potential there. Some of the numbers that I was throwing around about the old mine workings, 1.3 million tons at 2.5% nickel. If you look at class 1 nickel, their market cap and just the resource, you can kind of make some comparologies and see like, geez, I see no problem. Even though I'm the CEO, I see tremendous upside potential in this. And if we can start defining a significant resource, even on the side of, or on the size scale of Talon, then you've got a great company in the making with a huge market cap and massive return for investors. And that's what we really want to do. We want to hit that out of the park. Not going to get into the nickel cycle simply because we all know what it's about. It's all about EVs and so forth. So that is Metal Energy. We are part of the Orr group of companies. very successful group who we are, and yeah, we want to do what's best for our investors and make money for everybody.
Excellent, James. Thank you. I think you really outlined the prospectiveness of the project. I do want to ask you a question around the nickel market. I mean, right now the story is all turned to stagflation. We're not going to see the growth possibly that we thought we were going to see, and this kind of worst case scenario, supply chains issues. How resilient do you see the demand for nickel being in this worst case environment, if this worst case environment persists?
Oh, nickel's resilient for years to come now that it has the battery component. Even if you start replacing the nickel, the NMC batteries with LFPs, those are, you're going to need both. And it's as simple as that. With everything being electrified nowadays, we're talking planes, we're talking helicopters, boats, trucks, cars. I'm not saying all of those, we're not going to replace the entire fossil fuel industry, but the electrical vehicle industry is not going to phase out. That is here. It will continue to grow, and we will need NMC batteries moving forward. There's no doubt about that.
Very good. And what about, we like these kind of plays, a pure play on nickel, really strong asset. Give us the pace of the news flow that investors can kind of expect around the drill campaign.
Yeah, once we start drilling, we should be able to put out news every 2 to 4 weeks. Basically, we will have a handheld XRF, so we'll be able to identify nickel copper sulfide mineralization. We will not report any values from that, but it will give us basically a confirmation that we know drill intersection lengths, and that's probably the best we can do, is just some sort of visual or XRF type of news. But we do plan for it to be continuous. Knowing what the lab returns are like, we're talking 8 to 12 to 16 weeks down the road for some scenarios. We don't want to finish drilling and then put out news next year saying, oh yeah, this is what we hit. So we want to keep people updated as much as possible. Steady news flow is a great thing these days.
Very good. Excellent, James. Appreciate your time with us. Wish you continued success, big success on the upcoming drill campaign. Have a great rest of the year.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Cheers, James. Bye-bye.